So here's how it works. You take the blue pill, the story ends, you wake up in your bed, and you believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you listen to Thrive Loud, and Lou shows you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Want to learn from those that are taking their lives, their businesses, and their passions to the next level? Best-selling author of Master the Art of Connecting and professional speaker Lou Diamond is here to connect you to some of the most inspiring and amazing people on the planet. Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. I'm your host, Lou Diamond. Today, we have the girl next door, your best friend, a passionate educator, and a fearless businesswoman. As the CEO of Brandlink, a $30 million marketing agency, she sits on the board of several companies and is an angel investor, all while homeschooling her 2 children and traveling the world. Seriously? That's just unbelievable. We're going to get to that. Her mission is to help women all over make more, do more, and live more. She's the author of a very cool book we're going to dig into a little more detail and explode or pop with the title in a moment. And we're going to have a lot of fun in this conversation. She's extraordinary, and she's going to tell us why. Listeners, please bring your hands together, applaud wherever you are, but not while you're driving, to Jessica Mead. Jessica, how are you today?
Oh, I'm fantastic. I'm so excited to be here. I always love talking about women, education, leadership, conscious leadership, all these kind of things. So I hope we get into some fun stuff.
Oh, we will. So, Jessica, first of all, let's start off. You're coming to us now from Seattle, Washington. It's early in 2022. Isn't that crazy? I have trouble saying the year in the beginning of the year. I want to talk first a little bit about you and all these multiple roles that you have. Let's talk a little bit about Brandlink first so our listeners know exactly what it is and they can be brought up to speed. Share with listeners what it's all about.
Sure. So Brandlink is one of the companies that I own. Actually have a portfolio of 23 right now, but Brandlink is solely mine that I've grown and putting a lot into the people, into the growth, all of that. But what Brandlink is it's a data-driven full service ad agency. So we do all type of media, creative, doesn't matter what it is, brand identity packages, things like that. So.
Jessica, you snuck that in there. You said 23 other companies. What other types of businesses fall into your portfolio?
So this is one of my favorite things to talk about because people are like, I just don't understand. The way we sort of work and how we end up with so many companies and why we grow them the way we do is because we start out with something and then we see this need, or we have a vendor partner and there's a flaw in it, and we function on truth and transparency. So if there's anything wrong with it, then we're like, time to build that type of company so we can stand behind it 100%. We believe that integrity is what drives us, and we stand behind that. So we have the second largest consumer database company in the US. We have a software platform company. We have very large back-end fulfillment automotive company, all programs, products for all digital media. We have an email platform company. We have, so Brandlink deals in all verticals. One of our companies, Drivonic, is strictly automotive. And then the flip side to that is Epek Productions, which we have offices in several other countries. We have a real estate company. We have a couple car dealerships. We have a lot of things going on. I invested here in the Climate Pledge Arena. So I have that as well. Just a lot of things that we do. And they're always sort of symbiotic in nature, where one helps the other and why we built it. Some companies we've bought, acquired, rolled up, but mostly it's because we've had a need for it.
I'm going to rewind a little bit and then I'll get to the question that hit me most effectively here. But let's just rewind a little bit. How did all of this become your gig? Help bring the listeners up to speed as to where you started out to get on this unbelievable path as this unbelievable successful leader in business across the globe here.
Okay, well, so my husband, who also happens to be my partner in 20 of these companies, we started out in business together. I was very young going into college. I grew up in a family where entrepreneurialism was like the death kiss. They were terrible. We suffered. We were homeless all the time, didn't have food. It was just this horrible thing in my mind. So I was going to go to college and find this career and stick to it and have, success in whatever I did. I've always believed in myself that I can do anything. I think our mind is our most powerful asset. And if you believe in it and you trust your intuition and you just know that you can achieve it. So I didn't have a problem there. I did everything in high school. I tried from FFA, Mu Alpha Theta, French club, you name it, I did it because I wanted to see where I would thrive personally, what moving into adulthood. But I met him and he had this small publishing company and he said, you've got this thing and I really need help. Could you just maybe work with me some? And I scared to death, but I worked part-time at Frost Bank in college. And I said, okay, cool. I'm going to help you. And he that company, he was doing about 80,000 a year back in 99. That next year we did over $1 million. We realized that there was something cool about our dynamic. We both offer very different skill sets. And since then, we've been growing businesses together.
Jessica, you said, he said to you, you have that thing. What is that thing?
Oh, he's so flattering to me. So I am the relationship and connection person in our dynamic. I think people are our greatest asset in business and in life outside of our mind. I invest in people. We have people that have worked for us that will never go away. They just move from one company to the other because they just want to be on our team. And I think it's really interesting because when I think about it, I believe I'm a conscious leader. I believe leadership means something very important to me. And I approach people in a different way. So he'll always say, I walk into a room and everybody wants to talk to me. But I think when you walk into a room, the energy you bring and the presence you bring and your willingness to connect and actually listen to people, it changes things. It changes your whole world. So he's always said, I have that thing. I can make magic happen. And he has it too, just in a very different way. It's very nerdy, but also very suave, like super cool human being. So I don't know. It's hard to say when it's about yourself,
Well, I think what this is leading to, and this might help bleed and segue into the next section, is there's some kind of magic and explosive power inside of you. I'd love to hear, and I know our listeners would really love to hear, how Firework Humans, your latest book, came to be.
Oh, yeah. This is one of my most favorite things to talk about because honestly, this book came out originally as a homeschooling educational style book. And when I started, I had 3 books in one by the time I finished. So talking with people that I work with and Charlie and Morgan James, it was sort of this thing where they're like, gosh, there's so much here. And how my mind works is I want to give you everything that lives and breathes in here because I think it's important for you to have it from my head to yours. So what we decided was we took out all of the actual educational homeschooling items, all about the 8 learning styles as I see them. Some people recognize for how important that is, teaching styles, different types of homeschooling, types of education, building curriculum, all these things. So I made videos and workbooks and all this stuff to go on my website to go along with this book. And we kept everything that's in here because they're like, this is also very unique. I talk about concerted cultivation versus natural growth, growth mindset, how important your mind is. But these are these entrepreneurial instincts, how I see them and what they mean to us and how to grow them, how to recognize them, how to see if they're lacking both in your employees, your spouse, your partner, your children, and how to help them bring them out in them. And so it's sort of my when I do talk to groups of people or I'm speaking at something, or even with my employees, there are all the little things I try to pepper in or incorporate into it. And I just finally got it into a book.
So let's double click down into this, because you obviously made a conscious decision, you and your husband, to homeschool your kids. And let's rewind. Were you homeschooled as a child, or was your husband?
No, actually, I went to 7 elementary schools all over Florida. I went to 2 junior highs in Texas and then high school there. My husband grew up in East Texas, went to the same schools basically his whole life, went over to Amarillo for a little bit, but then came back. Neither one of us we're public school kids, and yeah, I got a lot out of public school, but I wanted to get a lot out of public school. It was my effort put into it. No, homeschooling actually was sort of dumped on us, and it's full transparency there. It was not a choice. Isabella was in 2nd grade in a little private school in Texas. At that time, I was pregnant with Jackson, and I'm very high risk. Our kids are 7 years apart because we weren't supposed to have any more. This was end of August. He was born August 29th. So it kind of gives you a timeline of like how quick this happened. My grandma lived with us, full care. She had a stroke. So there was a lot happening in our world. At that time, we had about 5 different companies, just growing our data company. So it was a complicated time. And they said, we don't have enough enrollment. We were going through that recession back, she's 17 now. So you can kind of piece that timeline together. I panicked. I was like, I don't know what to do. And the lady that owned the school said, she's brilliant. You're phenomenal. Just homeschool her. She's going to be fine. I said, I'm about to give birth. I have my grandma. I have all this going on. I don't think I can do this. I'm going to fail my child. She's like, dude, you could do nothing for the next 5 months. She's going to be okay. So we were sort of thrown into homeschooling, and we struggled. The reason why I'm so passionate about these instincts and about learning styles and teaching styles and how to mold that and recognize how to best grow your children and grow your employees and all of this is because my experience with doing that with her. So it was not a choice, but ever since I've been homeschooling, and with our son, I've homeschooled him as well.
Okay, Jessica, our listeners are doing some math here. They're saying we've got somebody who's running a multi-million-dollar agency and several other businesses. She's traveling around. You have 2 locations. You're in Seattle right now. Where's the other location that you normally?
California. So we live in Encino as well. So we go back and forth. But we have company. We have all over the United States. We have offices, and then in a couple other countries.
So we're talking physical mobility, moving around, balancing these businesses, and homeschooling your kids. How do you do this?
Well, okay. So I'm very bullish on my time, and time is extremely valuable to everybody, not just exclusive to me, but everybody on my team knows. So my kids, the beauty of homeschooling is you create your schedule. You know what that looks like for you and how to best work that. So the advice I give to a lot of moms, especially, I did a lot of stuff on news and things like that with when the pandemic hit and all of a sudden we were doing distance learning and people were panicking. Working remote, teaching your kids, it was crisis everywhere. So what I've always told people is be bullish on your time, make yourself list, do all the really hard tasks first, get that done. All of my meetings, everybody on my team knows I have a hard cutoff that my kids get this time from this time. It's about 4 hours out of the day. I do project-based, interest-based learning. So it's very unique to us and how we do it. It ensures engagement, retention, all of that. It's the style that works best, especially with my son. He's all over the place. And then I follow up at the end of the day. I don't let time bandits in. I find time for myself I'm also very big on, and I think this is important for people who are managing a lot of things in their life. In between things, I'll take 2, 3, 5 minutes, whatever it is, and I sort of reset my mind. I do this with meetings with my staff. We don't start a meeting and go right in. We start a meeting and we do a favorite movie of the week, something interesting we did. We just sort of all reset where we are. So we come into that meeting fully engaged, ready to be there. We can all just flow through it and not have brought anything from the previous meeting or what we were doing into that. So I have a lot of tips out there. I feel like if I sat and gave you all of them, we would be here for another 30 minutes. I'm trying to speed things up as much as I can.
No, and this is spectacular. And I think what's really interesting, you said something very interesting here about being bullish on your time. And a lot of people get lost in their time, don't have as good of a perspective of it, but also you're maximizing and very set and getting other people to be very appreciative and set on what your calendar is all about. And I think that's very important. I think that's one of the key messages you're hitting home here.
Can I say something real quick too? I think it's also important to understand that for all the people that are doing all this and are also parents, it's not our job as parents to be strong 100% of the time. It's our job to communicate, educate, inspire, encourage, all of these things. So we're not going to succeed every moment of every day. That's not our job. But if we do the other things along the way and we show them what it means to work like I do, I include them. They know what I do. They understand it. They know our employees. They're part of that. They're not excluded. So it's not a moving from one thing to the other and there's isolation and nothing sort of flows into. We practice intentional congruence. So everything sort of flows in our life. It's like a harmony, and anything that doesn't flow or causes friction, we shed it because it's not serving us. But I think that's important as well.
I love the perspective. Jessica, I love asking all the guests that I interview this question, specifically thriving, amazing individuals like yourself. On most days, you're killing it. You're crushing it. You're kicking on all cylinders, all these businesses. You've got a book coming out. You're homeschooling your kids. You're traveling around. You're smiling ear to ear. Listeners got to know she's got a spectacular smile and she's got a ball full of energy here. But we all have days when we're not quite on our A game and we're a little off our game. Mm-hmm. Jessica Mead, when you have trouble thriving, what practice do you seek, or maybe which individual do you seek out to get yourself back on the thriving track?
So for me, because I don't think anybody ever runs through life at 100%. Even the top performers that you think are fallible, like they have those days where it just is not working for them. I first show myself grace, and I understand that I matter. Like, I think one of the things we get caught up in is it's just our job to plow through and make sure everything happens, especially as leaders. We have so many people counting on us and relying on us. So we start to feel like we don't matter. It's just our job. It's what we do. And we can't show that weakness. But I think it's important for people to see that and know that you have those days. But I show myself grace and I allow myself, there's days where I said, okay, I'm quitting this day. I've done that with our kids. Sometimes it's just not right. And we'll say, we're quitting this day. We're going to go on a field trip, or we're going to just reset. And you need to allow yourself that grace and that mercy, and just know that it's okay. You don't have to be that person 100% of the time. And I'm really strong on trusting myself. And I know when to engage and when not to engage. When I know that I'm just going to create friction, we all sort of self-sabotage in a way. There are days that we all do that just because we want to distract ourselves from ourselves because we're too worried about the reality of the situation. We're not mindful of what we're dealing with at the moment. We just want to hop from here to here and not be aware of anything in the middle. So we just distract ourselves to push through. I don't allow that for myself. So I make myself stop. I recognize where I'm at, and then I allow myself to process and go through it.
I love it. Let's do the admin part of the show before we get down to Fun Street here, Jessica. Let's do this. Share listeners all the places they could find, first, Firework Humans, all about Jessica, and then anywhere of your businesses or any of that stuff. We'll do it in that order. We'll put it on the show notes, but they get more engagement when they hear it from you.
Okay, groovy. So Firework Humans, of course, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, I think Books A Million, all the bookstores, you can get it there. I am working on the audiobook. They want me to record it, which is super cool because I get to add flavor, which is nice. But yeah, anywhere. You can also get it through my website. You can reach me through my website. It's jessicamead.com. Also through Instagram or LinkedIn. Also on Facebook, although I'm not a super social person. So yeah, I just don't check it as much as I should. What was the third one? There was a third one. It was
the third one, and the businesses. Is there any one place? Can we go to jessicamead.com and we could find more about Brandlink or the other stuff, or we just have to dig?
Absolutely. Yeah. All of them are there. Links to all of them are there. You can go to brandlink.com, drivonic.com, Mead Holdings, any of those. You'll find me there listed with my picture. And you can contact me. But through my website, you can reach me, reach all of my companies. It's a great resource.
Listeners, don't worry. We'll get her to at least see or like the post that we put up for this episode. It's in some social platform. We'll get someone to do it for her. One of the two, because she's got so many things going on.
I'll do it. I sort of factor in about 20 minutes more towards the end of my workday to do all of that. I don't really I'm not a sit and scroll. I think it's a waste of my mental power. So, but I do. I'll go in there and do that.
Jessica, permission to go down Fun Street with me here.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's start off by sharing with the listeners. Do you have an all-time favorite movie, or maybe one that you've been connecting with of late?
Oh, goodness. So don't judge, but all-time favorite, I've always loved The Matrix. It's just one of those things for me. It sort of helped me think through things that I just didn't think were possible. I'm a very dystopian type reader. I'm a reader. I'm not really a TV watcher or anything. So I enjoy a lot of that, a lot of those types of books. Also, I'm also a romantic. I've always loved Sleepless in Seattle. So that would be my backup. Which
to me would be like what you would need to be to do all the things you need to do. You're in Seattle and there's no chance to sleep. I would imagine that would just be
yeah.
All right, here we go. We're going to go down the fun streets, what I love to call the speed round here. This is real quick, and I know you can handle it on your toes here.
Got it.
I'm saying this with extreme sarcasm. I think you got it. I'm going to ask you something. I want the first thing that comes to your mind. These are things that lift you up, that motivate you, that make you feel good. Basically, they make you thrive. You ready?
I love it. Uh-huh.
Okay. Of late, a song that you love to listen to, or maybe one that pumps you up.
Sunday Best.
Who sings that?
Ooh, I'm really bad with the. Look it up. Sunday Best. It's
producers, get on that. Sunday Best. Look it up. We'll figure it out.
It's very motivational to me. It is, sort of hip hop-ish, but yeah.
Okay. A favorite food that's not a dessert.
Nachos.
A favorite dessert.
Creme brulee.
An activity you wish you did more of.
Fly helicopters.
Ooh, I'm going to double click on that in a minute. An activity you wish you did less of.
Oh, waste time.
If I could snap my fingers and you, Jessica Mead, can be anywhere in the world, where are you?
Finland.
Have you been?
Yes.
Have you been in a helicopter in Finland?
Oh, not in a helicopter in Finland. In a helicopter in a lot of other countries. I fly helicopters, so
okay. So let's.
It's a passion for me. Yes.
Do you're licensed, or how does that? I don't even know how that works.
I can fly with other people with me. I'm not fully licensed yet, but I'm like right there.
I like it. You know what? Helicopters to me is like the coolest thing ever. Like every now and then I'll sit in traffic. I live just outside of New York City, and I'll be going into New York City, and I'll be like, man, I wish I had a helicopter. So I'm going to have to say, man, I wish I had Jessica nearby to fly me.
That's right. I could do that for you. Yeah. Every time we look at property, it's like, can a helipad go there? Would that work? Because we love that. We've flown. So in LA, we love to fly from like Van Nuys area over to the different islands down to San Diego and hop around that way. It's really cool.
Jessica Mead, she's a firework human herself, but Firework Humans, great book helping those who are very interested in homeschooling. She's got all these incredible businesses, as everybody can tell. She is just a bundle of energy, a joy with a great smile, and has an unbelievable business. And what I like most about you, as you hinted in this interview, is that you love to connect with people, and that's what we love to do here. So thanks for connecting with us.
Oh, absolutely. It's my pleasure.
And to all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us. And until next time, keep moving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah, hey, every day can be a better day despite the challenge. All you gotta do is.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Check us out on the web at thriveloud.com and follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at Thrive Loud. And check us out on the Good Pods app at Thrive Loud, where you can follow, listen, and connect directly to Lou and all of the Thrive Loud episodes. Thanks for listening.